What is my plan in 2026 when it comes to the graph? Now, nothing I say is financial advice. However, it's going to be the exact same as to what I did in 2024 and 2025, and that is dollar cost averaging once a month personally for me, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Now, people may be thinking, but why? The graph, it's done, they say it's cooked and all this, but I don't think about it that way. Sure, GRT as of right now has a market cap that is over 10 times lower than what I saw back in March of 2024, because as of right now, the market cap is slightly below 400 million, whereas almost 2 years ago, it was around 4 billion. However, is that necessarily such a bad thing? Well, personally for me, if I'm looking to dollar cost average, I wouldn't find that disappointing personally for me. And also on top of that, hypothetically, the thought of maybe a dollar when it comes to GRT, it is around 28 times away at this point, which may not sound like a good thing, but I'm looking to dollar cost average. So I won't necessarily mind if things are having a pullback. This is the way to take a look at it for dollar cost averaging. Again, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But here's the thing. If GRT just went back to where it was in March of 2024, again, right now, the market cap is slightly below 400 million. At that point, it was around 4 billion. So the thing is this, it's actually over 10 times lower than what we saw less than 2 years ago, right? But is Bitcoin less than 10 times lower than where it was around 2 years ago? No, it's not. Neither is Ethereum. Neither is something like BNB. So when I take a look at something like GRT, sure, it's not doing the best as of right now, along with a bunch of other altcoins, but I still like it because I am not an archaeologist, right? I'm not looking for dinosaurs. I'm not looking for something that has such a massive market cap. This is my perspective. And the way to take a look at it is that GRT, sure, the market cap is not like small, right? It's not like a micro cap, but at the same time, it's not overly massive. This is the way to take a look at it. Not to mention, at a dollar, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around 10.7 billion. I've seen Shiba Inu pretty much around 4 times that, right? Back in 2021 in terms of market cap, and actually Dogecoin around 8x that back in 2021. So, I mean, is this such a ridiculous market cap, I suppose? I don't know if I think about it that way, but also here's the thing. The graph, in terms of the fundamentals, we have to consider. If I were to just kind of summarize it in sort of a simplistic way, the way to take a look at it is that it's basically helping developers use relevant data to help increase the efficiency of their decentralized application. But here's the thing, that's such a specific niche, right? That's such a specific thing. If someone asked me, what is a project that's famous and that's helping developers use relevant data to help increase the efficiency of their decentralized application? I'm not thinking about 20 or 30 different ones. I'm pretty much thinking about the graph. This is the way to take a look at it. But is that necessarily a bad thing? I don't think so, because I think that if anything, it showcases that the graph sort of has this presence within its own niche. But then also on the flip side, it could be considered that it doesn't have such a mass market appeal because it's a little bit of a niche project. Totally aware of that, but it doesn't need mass market appeal. Again, right? At a dollar, hypothetically, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around 10.7 billion. Mass market appeal is not needed for something like that. To reach like 100 billion, 80 billion, then okay, there needs to be like actual large scale popularity. But this is not, I think personally for me, a figure that I haven't seen before, and also a figure which seems so ridiculous because it doesn't seem that way to me. So the graph, it doesn't need to become the best. All it needs to do, in my perspective, is just at least become a little bit relevant. That's it. But we'll wait and see, though. I mean, this is only time will tell type of scenario. The thing is this. When it comes to GRT, people like to say, again, no one really cares about it, but keep in mind, it's still a top 110 project within this space in terms of market cap, right? It's ranked 107 in the world. Or should I say ranked 107th in the world? The thing is this. Like personally for me, if I take a look at the graph, I don't think about it as a project that is necessarily reinventing the wheel. No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's decent, but I don't think it's the best. But again, I don't need it to be either. For what? It's like, for instance, right? I've used this example a couple times before. However, I'm going to just use it again. I've been to Manhattan Beach before in LA. And the thing is this. If I walk by the Strand, right? If someone's been there, I think they'll know what I mean by this. It's like the walkway, basically beside the beach, but then beside the strand, there are homes, right? And the thing is this, does someone who lives there, do they need to become the next Jeff Bezos? No, they don't, right? I mean, the thing is, sure, I mean, someone has to do pretty well in order to live there, but they don't need to hypothetically maybe become the next Jeff Bezos. That's pretty intense right there, right? It's not that easy in a lot of cases to hypothetically do something like that. But again, it's not required in order to live in Manhattan Beach. I mean, a lot of people live in Manhattan Beach, right? That's the thing. But besides that point, when I take a look at it as well, the graph, again, I think sort of has this analogy. It doesn't need to become the next best thing. No, it does not. As long as it's in Manhattan Beach, the analogy that I have when it comes to it, as long as it maybe still is relevant, if there is hypothetically an altcoin season, why would I even demand anything more? I wouldn't, actually. This is personally for me, though. I'm not telling anyone to anything, but when I take a look at the graph, I just like the fundamentals overall. I like the use case. Sure, it may seem a little bit simple. Sometimes people like to tell me that, but it doesn't need, I think, such a complicated use case, because the thing is, again, the way I take a look at it is that the graph, it's trying to look to help developers, right? And helping these developers increase the efficiency of their decentralized application. Like, why does it need to become more complicated? I think sometimes something becoming more complicated doesn't necessarily equal it becoming a lot better. Sometimes it just makes people confused for no reason. For what? And the thing is this, for other projects out there, if more developers appear, if more developers are just trying to do things within this space, they're a little bit sort of not happy to see that in some cases, because they may feel like they're a little bit of trouble, right? But when it comes to the graph, because it's literally trying to help developers, at the end of the day, in my perspective, one of the main core focuses in my perspective, like, it's not going to be afraid, right, if there's more developers, because if there's more of what it's trying to help, why is that a bad thing? It's like, for instance, imagine if I'm in a specific area and I'm selling kitchen equipment for restaurants, and for whatever reason, there's suddenly a massive increase in hamburger restaurants or cheeseburger restaurants or whatever the case may be. Would I be complaining? No, because I'm literally trying to sell kitchen equipment and there's more of the customer base within that area. Why would I complain? Now, if I had, like, let's say another cheeseburger restaurant, then of course I'd be a little bit afraid, right, that there's more appearing. But if I'm literally selling the equipment, like, that right there is not something I'm going to be afraid of. So the way I take a look at it is that that's kind of the analogy of the graph. This is my perspective. So yeah, overall, I'm just waiting. What can I do, right? There's nothing else I can do. All I'm doing is waiting. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but if an altcoin season during this cycle, I can't control that. I'm not going to be able to know when that happens. So I just like to be waiting. I think hypothetically, just in case, this is the way to take a look at it. And this is hypothetical, right? I don't even have to believe in this, by the way. This is my own personal decision, but I'm voluntarily choosing to do so anyways. That's it. Not telling anyone to do anything. However, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you all have a very nice day, and feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. And also feel free to like the video if you liked it. It's only the captain, and I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.